Today, we're going to talk about an easy, well-known way that investors often use to plan for retirement withdrawals, the 4% rule. Welcome to Tidecrest Wealth Academy, an educational video series where we share strategies, concepts, and ideas that will help you take control of your financial journey. Whether you're planning for retirement, building wealth, or just looking to make smarter financial decisions, you're in the right place. You've worked hard to save for retirement, and now you're ready to turn your savings into a paycheck. But how much can you afford to withdraw from savings and spend? If you spend too much, you risk being left with a shortfall later in retirement. But if you spend too little, you may not enjoy the retirement you envisioned. Today, we're going to talk about an easy, well-known way that investors often use to plan for retirement withdrawals, the 4% rule. It's easy to use, based on decades of data, and can provide a useful baseline for retirement income analysis. By the end of this short video, you'll understand how it works, where it came from, and why it may or may not work for you. First, what is the 4% rule? The 4% rule is a retirement withdrawal strategy. It's based on the idea that if you withdraw 4% of your total savings in the first year of retirement and increase that amount annually to keep pace with inflation, your portfolio is likely to last through a 30-year retirement. For example, if you've saved $1 million for retirement, your first withdrawal is 4%, $40,000. If inflation over that first year is 2%, you can withdraw $40,800 in year two. This adjustment for inflation helps preserve your purchasing power over time while still aiming to stretch your savings for 30 years. Where did the 4% rule come from? The rule was developed by William Banken, a financial planner in the 1990s. He analyzed U.S. market history, stocks and bonds, from 1926 all the way into the 90s, roughly 70 years. He asked, what's the highest rate people can safely withdraw from savings without running out of money in retirement? He found that 4% adjusted for inflation was successful in providing the target distributions over 30-year periods, even in downturns. So you may have heard recently the 4% rule came under scrutiny. The rule came under fire during the long period of extremely low interest rates from 2008 to the early 2020s. Bond yields were historically low, reducing safe fixed income returns well below the target 4%. Some financial experts began recommending more conservative withdrawal rates, 3% or even lower. This highlighted the need to adapt strategies based on economic conditions. However, since 2021, interest rates have risen significantly. Many now believe the 4% rule is once again a reasonable and sustainable strategy, especially when utilizing balanced portfolios. So why do people like the 4% rule? It's easy to understand and implement, no complex formulas. It gives people confidence knowing it's based on historical market data. It creates structure and discipline, preventing overspending early in retirement. It can be a helpful baseline for planning, even if you eventually adjust it. Keep in mind that there are several limitations of the 4% rule. After all, it's a starting point, not a guarantee. Unexpected costs like healthcare, long-term care, or family support can disrupt the plan when additional funds are drawn down. Poor market returns early in retirement can reduce portfolio longevity, often referred to as sequence of returns risk. If you retire early or live much longer than 30 years in retirement, you may need to be more conservative in your projections. Asset allocation supporting the 4% rule is assumed to be a balanced portfolio of 50% stocks and 50% bonds. So if you're utilizing a different allocation, expectations may need to be adjusted. It also doesn't include taxes in the analysis, which could have a material impact on effectiveness of the strategy over time. Many investors use 4% as a baseline and end up customizing the rule. Some retirees use a lower withdrawal rate, like 3.5%, for a bigger safety margin. Others, depending on their comfort with market risk, might use a higher rate, like 4.5%. Ultimately, it's important to adjust your strategy based on your lifestyle, investment strategy, and risk tolerance. Some final thoughts. The 4% rule is a valuable and straightforward tool for retirement income planning. It simplifies decision-making and can reduce anxiety. But it should be flexible. Review it regularly and adjust for your personal situation. And when in doubt, consult with a financial professional for a more detailed conversation. As always, we appreciate your time and attention. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to see more content like this. Follow Tidecrest Wealth Management on Instagram, connect with us on LinkedIn, and don't forget to check out our new podcast, Tidecrest Perspectives, now streaming on Spotify. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.